What's up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Yes, today is Wednesday. How y'all doing? Welcome to today's live stream. I'm looking forward to today's content, the stuff that we're going to discuss. Let everybody settle in, and we're going to get cracking. Yesterday, well, let's make sure first that I'm not muted. Yes, I'm not muted. Remove my table, my war table down here, so you guys can see this beautiful jersey, this beautiful shirt. Some of you guys watching will recognize this. Nonetheless, it's a beautiful sweater. How is everybody doing today? I think I have to reload my page because I don't see the chat. Let's see. All right, guys. So yesterday, I got called out by my own server mod. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stick to 1 hour, and then we go 2 hours into the live stream. But today, I will not do that because she is finishing her work in just a little bit, and she's gonna hold me accountable to my time. All right, so give another minute or so for everybody to settle in, and then we're gonna start. Okay. What's up, Marcelo? How you doing? Don't forget, guys, share the link with your friends. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button. Subscribe. What's up, why, man? I'm glad you're doing well, brother. So, we know we're talking about, so today we're going to be doing the damage dealing free-to-play tier list. Now, the very first thing that I need to settle with you guys, okay? This is coming from, yes, exactly, good. So that's exactly what I'm getting to, Marcelo. Now, everybody's going to have different definitions, but with you guys, I want to settle in one, and we're going to move forward. All the content related to, whenever we say free to play, we know at least, within my channel, within my Discord, you guys will know what I mean. Now, we can't look back at the OG players, right? Because OGs, for all the way from season 1 when the game first launched, you might be very low spender. You might have some commanders at high respect. But I feel that for the majority of players who are starting now or started just a couple months ago, it might not mean the same thing. So how do you guys feel if we determine that free to play is exactly what you guys can see on my screen right here? Oh, right there. Right over there. So I was considering free to play mighty, so T1 at R5. Oh, geez, this is not the image. Give me a second. Let me swap this one over. That's not the one. Give me a second. I made a new one. Where is this baby? So, give me a second. I have it. Let it download really quick. My thinking is mighty T1 at R5, epic at R3, and legendary at R1. I've been playing on my free-to-play account, and I do think it's going to be quite difficult to first unlock a commander and little by little push him to R1. But at the same time, I was looking at some of the damage dealers, and if we consider legendary tier 3s only at R1, then a lot of them are going to really be missing out. And I'll explain what I mean. So let me pull up. We have a commander right here. Dane, right? We're going to talk about him in just a second in the tier list. But let's use him as an example really quick here. At R1, Dane only has one skill. What's up, Peter? How you doing, man? Long time no see. It's been a while. So if we consider Dane one of the best damage dealers in the entire game, if we're considering him at R1, then he is going to be very, very, very low in terms of his damage potential. Okay, and what I'm considering for this tier list specifically, okay, is going to be the damage, the potential damage output coming from the skill. We're not to put everybody on the same, you know, standard. I'm not gonna be using a weapon, the best in slot weapon, because that's very RNG. You know, it will differ from player to player. Somebody might have the Exocast Doom as a free to play. Somebody might never get a Exocast Doom as a free to play. Okay. Man, that sucks. All good. Just had to see gameplay here. For the memories, haven't played the game for such a long time. That's unfortunate, but I understand you, man. Yo, Amir, you have a good point. But that's the thing. So let's settle this. I've been thinking about this all day, because first I settled, you know, in T3's being at R1. How likely though will a free-to-play, you know, in the new game get a commander to R3? Do you guys think it will be easy? If you guys think, you know, within 3-4 seasons, so let's go with this, with 3-4 seasons, a free-to-play can get a commander T3 to R3, then we'll bump up the minimum to R3, because then we're going to be able to play with a lot more numbers. What do you guys think? Five seasons for tier 3? Okay, I mean, it's still not too bad, you know. If in 5 seasons you can get a T3 to R3, then I don't think it'd be crazy to consider them, you know, for the free to play tier list in this. Or what do you guys think? Let's not dwindle on this too much. Okay, Marcelo, that makes sense. But then again, that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to create guides and content where people learn, you know, the best they can get. So let's do this. I mean, let me switch it up really quick. Okay, I like it. So let's go legendary R3, and that means, let me see, do I have any commander at R3? Okay, so that will give them 65. So T3, 65 points. Okay, T2. So T2, we had them at R3. So how about we put them at R5? And Mighty, we'll keep them at R5. You guys think in 5 seasons we're able to push a Mighty to R8? You know, ascend them and then push them to R8. What do you guys feel? Okay, so let me see if I have any. So R8, so T2 at R5. So that will give them 66 points. Yeah, but you'd have to invest essential materials into T2s. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Let's just give them an equal. Exactly. But the thing is, a lot of free-to-play new players might not even know if a T1 is you should invest or not. Okay, so I think I'm not trying to, you know, favor one or the other. I'm just trying to show the fact. So I like that you brought that up, and I think that for that specific reason, Marcelo, I think it's worth it doing that, showing the T1 ascended at R8. So let's see if do I have any R8s that are ascended. We have a, no, this is already a T2. Let me look in my other account really quick. want to get the exact number of points so we can do the calculations here. Okay, so I need a T1 that ascended. Jeez, I don't have any. Does anybody have a T1 at R8? So if they ascend, let's have a look here. So Haldir ascended, right? And so do I have anything? Okay, so I can see, let me just see here. So he gains 2 skill points. Perfect, perfect. So at R8, he will gain 6 extra skill points. Okay, so for between R5 to R6, R6 to 6, so okay, 6 extra skill points. That means my T1 can have 72 skill points. Perfect. That's what we're going with. All right, let me just change that really quick in the graph here, and then we're gonna start, you know, looking at the damage and then ranking everybody. Okay, mighty R8, epic R5, and legendary at R3. Let's pull this little baby out over here. Yep, let's load it up and let's get going. Okay, we're done. Yes, we're done. Let's go. All right, here we go. Make this a little bit smaller. And that should be almost. Here we go, baby. Perfect. By the way, guys, I just put up something up. I just put something up just barely. Yoamir got me going. Got actually a couple of people in my DMs going. When we talked about doing the 1,000 math and polls on my accounts, a couple of people reached out saying, hey, if you're able to get more people in this, we will sponsor your math and poll. So far, this is between what I've been able to gather and what people have already pledged to do it. We are 35% into the 1,000 math and polls. So if you guys want to, support me getting to the 1,000 math and poll, that we're gonna do in a live stream, even if it takes 3 or 4 hours to do everything, then you guys don't do it via super chat. Ideally, we're gonna do it via the top up link because YouTube takes a cut, but also you get to choose which of the 2 accounts the Mathams goes into. I have an account that's mostly it's very troop focused. It has damage dealers like Dane and stuff, but this is an account we're gonna push for the community to test a lot of the troop compositions, Gil-galad, Elrond, all the other good stuff. And I have one. You guys seen the one that I've been fighting with Falcon and Círdan. The healing build is the damage dealer account. So if you guys want to support and sponsor some of those Mathams, you guys get to pick, and it'll be fun. I'll pop this up once we start the tier list. I'll put them down. But if you guys want to do that, just reach out to me later so we can get that set up. All right, cool. Let's go. The EO Ghost Daily Show. I told you we're doing daily streams. What are you talking about, Ghost? Shy. Hi, have been enjoying the streams. I'm glad that you do. And looking forward to more. Thinking of playing the game again. I only played the first season late 2021. Should I continue or more worth starting new? It depends, man. If you might haven't gotten lucky on your first season and have some of the commanders that you want to use, right? So it just depends. Just depends what you have in the account. All right. Ghost use confusion. It's super. All right, cool, guys. So we set up our category and the standard for what we're doing. So let's go on with the tier list. Let me pull up the image here. The tier list. All right, where is it? Presentation mode. Here we go. Actually, not this one. Here we go. All right, the tier list is right over here. I'm gonna hide the commanders. That way we have more space to do stuff. So I'll just keep the tier list over here for now. Make my screen smaller. Here we go. It's gonna look a little bit better this way. All right. Again, we are, and you guys, this is going to be a video that we're going to have it very quickly up on the channel as a recap, instead of you guys having to watch our live stream. So, but the main criteria for how we're going to rank the damage dealers is the amount of possible power outcome from their skills. Should be in front of this one. Here we go. Okay, so that's what we're going to consider in order to rank all of these. There's quite a few of them, so let's get to it really quick. First in line, and if I forget any of them, the nice thing about the live stream, if I forget any of them, you guys get to remind me. Pull up my little cheat sheet over here on the other side, and oh, actually it's this one. Here we go. All right, perfect. Let's start with alphabetical order. This is not going to be, good side or evil. It's going to be a just commander damage. Let's start with Adun. Who here can tell me the possible power output that Adun has? And the thing that we want to do during the live stream as well is teach you guys or share with you guys how you can do your own analysis for your commanders. It's really nice to have, the videos. To always follow, but at the same time, ideally you guys learn how these things work. And then whenever you need to think or to decide stuff, you already learned how to do it. Okay? Let's go in alphabetical order. Let me pull up Adun really quick. She is a T2 commander. Let's go over here. She is over here. Perfect. So she is an epic commander. That means we're going to be putting her at R5. So she's able to use all of her 5 skills. Because I have her unlocked, I have to go through this. Okay. And she gets 66. She gets 66 points to allocate to her damage skills. Now, Adun is a commander that has 2 types. She is kind of a dual damage dealer because she has a skill. Her top R0, is focus related, but at the same time, her bottom R0 is the antagonist of the top R0 skill. Okay, so if you decide to go with Spell Seeker, you're doing focus damage, but then you're losing attack as you level it up at level 5. The same thing happens if you do the opposite. If you go with Reaper, she does physical damage, but then you lose a little bit of focus. She also has Black Numenorian. Every round she does an extra 120 focus damage. What's up, Ombra? And her R5 is not a damage dealing skill. Now, you're gonna have to decide, and because her R5 is so the minimum amount of damage that you can do with her. Oh shoot! Oh, that's true. Thank you for that. Let me fix this really quick. You guys are correct. Appreciate it. Here we go. No, it's not intentional. There's so many things going on my screen that I'll leave this one here so I can see what you guys can see. So let's do the calculation here. We're only considering the amount of damage that she can output, right? That's true. That's a good idea, Marcel. I'll do that for next time for sure. Love it, man. You built a pretty awesome spreadsheet, by the way. All right, cool. Here we go. 66 points. All right. In this case, so if you go on the focus, on the focus damage route, how would you calculate how much possible damage that she will do with Spellseeker? Well, you just see what's the percentage. You times by how many formations she's able to hit, and then you times it by the amount of rounds it's going to proc. So in this case, she's doing 200% of damage to 2 formations. So 200 times 2. And then it has a 1 round cooldown. It doesn't have rush. So if a commander has the rush skill, what's up, Ducky? If a commander has the rush skill, it means, even though it might say 1 round cooldown, it means that they will attack in the first round and then alternate every other round, right? So in this case, it will proc 5 times. So Adun, with her top RSU, is able to do 2000% of focus damage, okay? Now, if you go with the bottom skill, she's gonna do a little bit more, but it's physical damage. In this case, it's 240 times 2 formations, has the same 1 round cooldown, so it's gonna proc 5 times. So that's 2400 physical damage. And here's where you have to think, combine those two alone, she is able to output 4400 damage. This is the possibility in percentage, right? But you have to understand that most builds, you don't usually stack attack and focus. You're gonna need a very specific type of gear, okay? You're gonna need a very specific type of gear. No, 4400, Marcelo. So 4400 of damage. Okay, we're already calculating every other round. So 240 times 5, and then the other way around. No worries. Okay. Now the thing is, we're considering him free to play, and they might focus on this commander. We're not really telling them where to decide. We're just giving them the data. In this case, the gear you need to be able to pump out both focus and physical, it, to me personally, doesn't make it, it doesn't, I don't see the benefit of going for these two as a free to play because of the gear situation. So because her R3 also does focus damage, it also has some kind of debuffing against the commanders, the units, the formations. I would personally focus on her second skill, which will boost the focus damage that she does. Okay, so that would bring her to a total of, so we got 120 times 10 is 1200. So 1200 plus the 2400 of focus, that puts her at 3600 possible damage. Okay, so where is Adun? Currently, as we do all the math for all the commanders, we're gonna move these commanders around, right? So give me just a second here. Where is, here we go. So sorry, actually not 3400, 3600, yes. So 3600 possible damage for Adun. Don't worry, I'm gonna show you guys a little as soon as I'm finished with the spreadsheet, guys, I'll show you what it looks like. It's gonna be very cool because I'm gonna let the spreadsheet tell me, if they sit at A, B, C, D, or F, whatever we feel like, it might change according to the data. All right, let's go to the second one. Next up, we have Axog. I believe I have them unlocked as well. Oh, actually, never mind. So she has at level 50, she's going to have 2 more. So 2 more skills to go. That means you could get 48% every other round to 2 formations if you went through on the Reaper route. But then again, right? But then again, you know, it's one of those things with the gear. You're not gonna be doing that much damage, although it's 2,400. No, 200 and 400 for 48%. Let's do it. 48% times 5. That's 240 physical damage. So yes, Umbra, exactly. So spell seek, yeah, that's the route I'd go. Now, see, that's the thing. That's where, Marcelo, that's where I prefer not to go to myself, just because, especially for free-to-play players, the gear is what makes the difference. I prefer having the most, you know, like I told Ombra, I was telling Ombra yesterday during the live stream, I prefer playing with RNG as little as possible, because somebody that's running Adun, but has one type of gear, might not be able to do the same amount of damage as somebody else. So I like the idea of just telling the data, and then whoever has the gear for the top, good. If not, then they go for whatever else they can do with, you know. So I meant gear in terms of complexity, but the quality of gear not being a factor. Gotcha. So, see, that's the thing. Kurt, you have a good question. Free to play, assume purple gear, damage accessory only in gold items. Yes, exactly. And because it will be very random between different, you know, the luck of the free to play players, the gear, especially for free to play, is going to be very hard to, you know, we could talk about what's the best gear for these types of commanders, but the idea in this live stream is not to go into detail of what is the best gear. I'll leave that for a video, because that way, you know, I can edit things out, cut things out, take my time pulling, you know, the gear, the stat, and showing this. In the live stream, it becomes very complex. You know, just keeping track of all the numbers that we're talking about right now is already giving me a headache. So get a piece of sheet of paper over here really quick. Okay. So let's just give the best possible percentage outcome of damage for each commander. And then after we do all of that, we can then discuss other possibilities. So Adun at R8 being a T2 at the free-to-play level, right? But that's exactly the thing, Marcelo. Right now, gear dependency is very random between players. So let's just put the data out there. We can talk about the complexity. We can talk about the complexity of specific builds with gear later on. Okay? Exactly. So let's just give the possible data out there that gives free to play a pretty good starting point. As like, okay, I want to focus on 1 damage dealer, on, you know, 2 damage dealers, because everybody talks about at least having 2 damage dealers, and they'll look at this tier list and say, okay, the T3s, I'm going to choose 1 T3. Okay, Dane is the top here, so I'll go with Dane, and let me see who else I can go with. Okay, so in the A list, there's like 3 or 4 options. Okay, I like this one. I'll go with this. I'll go with the top possible damage one for the A list. Not considering gear, units, everything else plays, you know? So, exactly, a tie break. Perfect. So let's move on with that. So, Adun with 66 points, she can do 240 of physical damage. We're just adding that for the sake of the numbers. Plus Where is my formula? Okay. 3,000. Give me a second. Back to numbers. This number. Yes, that's fine. Okay, so she can do 3,600 plus 240 of physical. So 3.840 is her maximum damage percentage-wise. What's up, Porky? Okay, next up we have Axok. Let me pull up Axok really quick. What is going on, man? Okay, Axok, he is R8 ascended, meaning he will have 72 points to play. Okay, so let's look at his skills. The crazy thing about Axok, if I had the means, okay, if I was crazy rich, just to see, just for fun to see what Axok could do, I would pump Axok and his relic just to see what would happen. But I'm not that kind of person, so I won't be doing that. But he has 4 damage skills. Okay? And here's where we have to look to see which one has the most possible damage. So his top R0, Pursuer, has the chance of doing 400 every 2 rounds, every other round to 1 enemy formation. So that means he does 2,000 damage from his top R0. His bottom R0 is the same as Adun's. It's 1,200 of focus damage. His R3 is a possibility of 130% physical damage to 3 formations. This is where it gets, you have to stop and do the math, because every 3 rounds he will do 130 damage to 3 formations once each round for 2 rounds. So let's do the math on that. Okay, so exactly, Umbra. Axok has a potential to do a lot of damage, but bringing him to Zenith Max, it'll be ridiculous. I don't know if the game lasts in under 4 or 5 years. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does that. So 130, right, to 3 formations. So that's 390 in 1 round. He does that for 2 rounds, and it will repeat 3 times, because it will hit in rounds 3, then in round 6, and then in round 9. So he can do 2,340 possible damage with his R3 and with his R5. I really like this. I mean, I like this skill because it hits the units with the lowest HP. At least, man, I'm hoping. I'm praying, Porky. Mountain Warrior, he will do 550 physical damage. I'm not gonna count his level 5. Looking at just pure skills right now. So 550 every 3 rounds. Okay. So that's 550 times 3. That's 1.650. All right, let's go. Now we have to determine which skills we want to go with. With pure damage, with the possible pure amount of damage that he can do. What's up, Fernando? For free to play, it's a safe investment for a DD. Oh, Axok, 100%. So going by the max amount of damage that he can do, Pursuer and Shadow of the Mist will allow him to do 4,340 damage, both physical. In this case, I would completely ignore Black Numenorian, unless you want to add 1 point here, for the White Council cleanse. Although I don't think it's worth it. I think it's better going with whatever give you as much damage as possible. I would personally go with 2 full trees here, and you can do 4 more points into Mountain Warrior. Okay, so that will give you 2,000 plus 2,340 plus, okay, that's 55 times 4. Geez, these calculations are getting crazy. 50 times, if you're leveling this level 4, 55 times 4, then times 3. Because it's proccing every 3 rounds, right? So 660. So the amount of possible output damage for a free-to-play Exarch is 4,310. That would automatically, like I said, we're gonna mess around with things, when where is it? Right, when we finish the spreadsheet, I'm gonna do a little thing. It's gonna be really cool, right? So that puts Exarch automatically at a much higher position than Adun. I mean, let's do this. Let's. I know he's not gonna be an S tier, but let's put him like this for the time being. All right, don't worry. They're gonna move around. Okay. Next up, we have Aragorn 2. First good side commander we're gonna be looking into. Now, Aragorn 2 might be quite a bit straightforward. He's a T2, so that means he gets 2 complete trees and then 2 extra points elsewhere. We don't have to go into those other 2 because he really only has, 2 damage skills. Everything else is defense, and here is attack of main units. Doesn't really affect him. Now, this would affect him in terms of but you can't get him to level 5. So let's really quick look at his top R0 skill. Aragorn's top R0 skill does 420 damage once to 2 enemy formations. Okay. So 420 times 2 times then that by 3 has a 2-round cooldown. That is a 2,520 possible percentage damage output from his top R0. And at R3, he does 540 damage. Okay, 540 damage to 1 enemy formation 5 times. That's 2,700 of damage. That will give him a total damage output of 5,220. All right, so he goes just a tiny bit. Oh, shoot. Let's do this. Make sure you guys are not getting blocked anymore. Give me a second. Okay, let's leave this here. Let's leave this here. No, not that one. And we put this baby down here. There we go. Actually, let's do... Perfect. Now it's not going to be in the way anymore. I'll be able to see exactly what you guys are seeing. Give me just... Where's the last one? Here we go. Perfect. Now I can see exactly what you guys are seeing. Let me know if anything is messed up, all right? But okay, that's the game screen. So Anduril and Strider combined will give Aragorn 2 a total possible damage output of 5,220. Okay? That puts him directly above, where's Aragorn 2? Exarch. I'm not going to put him in the S tier because you guys already know only a few commanders will be at the very top. And just, just for the sake of being easy to understand, I'm not going to, create a new, Kraken or, whatever. We have a bunch of people have different names. So just, S, A, B, C, and D. It'll be pretty easy to understand. Okay, next up, our 3 down. Next up is the tricky one. Because Aragorn, King of Men, has the same 2 skills. So in theory, they are the same. But it's not true for a couple of reasons. His R5 doesn't really mess with him because only boosts the unit's formations, their attack, and Elisar will heal, but that's not related to damage. The reason why we can't rank King of Man and Aragorn II in the same category, and that's not even considering their possible, their possible relics in the future, is because Aragorn 2, at this level, being a legendary, if you look at the damage, Aragorn King of Man has a 21 to 24 damage range, okay? Whereas Aragorn II has a lower damage. So, pretty easy, it's pretty obvious. This is why I like using things without the gear, because it gives us the bare bones of everything. Aragorn King of Man will sit... Where is this? Where's Aragorn King of Man? Have 70 little icons over here. So for now, and I'm not gonna put anybody in the S tier until we talk about Dane and the other ones. Aragorn King of Man sits above him just because of the extra damage from the base stat that he already comes with. All right. So there you go. Pretty easy, right? Because they both have the same skill. If you're a new player and you're looking, considering one of the two, Strider and Andrew are the same skills for both King of Man and Aragorn II. Perfect. Next up, we have Ballin. Now, Ballin is not a commander that I necessarily, Exactly, Umbra. Umbra did, so Umbra in his power calculation, 345,000 from Aragorn II to 418,000 from King of Man because of the stat difference. And that's very important, okay? It's very important to notice. So Ballin, to me, yes, never mind. He does have 2 damage skills. So he is going to be, in the damage commander category. There are others that have damage commander skills, like 1, and we might just disregard because I like to at least have 2 damage skills to really be able to count them as a damage dealer, because even if you're not gonna well out on any commander, for the average player, 2 full skill trees is enough, to play. So let's look at Ballin's bottom R0, the Revivalist. Man, I used to love Ballin, back in 1.0. No worries, Marcelo. We're getting in the rhythm here, so we're gonna start cracking through stuff pretty quickly. Okay. Now, what's up, Beorn? How you doing, man? So, Revivalist up here has a 1 round cooldown. There is no rush in this skill, so rounds 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, he's going to do 300% physical damage. I'm doing good, brother. To 1 formation. Okay, the healing and the stun we're not considering again because we're just talking about the commander damage. So we do 300 times 5. That's 1,000. 1,500. What a sad skill for Ballin. Man, this guy suffers. Okay, what's up, Luke? Good to see you making it in the stream today, man. During's Blood, for a lot of commanders, is going to be one of those very OP skills. In his case, it just isn't. His overall kit is very average. So, although During's Blood might do some kind of damage, it's really not going to be any crazy. Let's go. This is a tricky one because of the wording here. During's Blood deals 700 physical damage once to 1 to 2 enemies. Okay? 1 to 2 enemies every 3 rounds. Okay, so let's do the calculation first for the 700 to 1 formation 3 times. That's 2,500. Okay, and just for the sake of being pretty fair, let's say the second formation is hit, okay, half of the time. Although I've seen people say that they've looked at reports multiple times, and looking through it, they feel that it doesn't proc 50% of the time. It procs less, but it's okay. Just for the sake of this, let's say it procs half of the time. So that's 1,050 extra possible damage. So that would put Durin's Blood at 3,150. Okay, 3,150. He doesn't have any other damage dealing skills. So 4,650 is Ballin's possible damage output. Crazy enough, okay, this is why it's important just to give exactly Ombra, 3,150% on average. It could be a little bit less, a little bit more, depending on your luck. Now, this is the tricky question. Ballin, according to what we've just shared, he will sit. I don't want to do this, but I have to. Ballin will sit above. So let's move these guys down here. So let's I'm actually rename this. I'll rename it for now to 5,000 plus damage, 4,000 plus damage, 3,000 plus damage, and then anything that reaches 2,000, you know, up to 3K. Oh, not 300K. Imagine that. All right. And then here, you know, we'll possibly for now put 600, you know, 6,000 plus, called as the special category. Okay, just for the sake of this being for now. The thing is, Ballin right now, he will sit above. So Adun goes down here, Agzog stays up there, and Ballin will move up in front of Agzog. It hurts to do this because Agzog's he's such a good damage dealer for his level of play. Where is Ballin? Here we go. Remembering that Agzog does 4,310. Ballin does 4,650. And here again, guys, I don't want to give you guys my opinion unless I have to look at, you know, some very tiebreakers. Like, commanders are so close in damage. We can analyze what possibly will be a better choice. All right. So next up we have the OP, the king. Everybody thinking he was going to be so OP, but maybe it's not so. Next up, I don't have him unlocked, and I'm kind of glad I didn't even try to push it. But did I? Give me a second here. Did I remove the thing on the right? It's okay. I'll remove it later. King of the Dragon. Oh, up here. Mr. Bard. Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely, Umbra. Umbra said Exarch power spike at Z6 at low level is not so powerful. It's crazy to say, but it's a cracking commander. Crazy to say that this T1 is a cracking commander, meaning nobody really should put money into him, unless you're gonna be free to play. But as you can see, you're gonna have a lot of options in terms of free to play, depending if you know T3, T2, or T1. Tier list is the way, Porky. It is, brother. It is. So let's look. So remember, a legendary, we're only allowed to use him at R3. So let's look how many damage skill he has. His R3 is not a damage skill, is a troop buffing skill. Oh, it's in the way. Shoot, freak. Here we go. So his R3 is a troop buffing skill. The only two damage skills he has besides his R5, which we can't touch in this case. I appreciate you. I'll make sure that every time I see Porky, oh, geez, it's in the way. All right, so we're gonna calculate. There's two things we gotta calculate here, just for the sake of the possible damage output. Let's calculate first his direct damage, and then we'll calculate the bleed. Okay, so Bowman will do 250 damage to one formation for 5 rounds. So that alone will give you 1,250. Well, let's put Eomer, because think of this. I don't want to have to do a tier list for season 3 plus. What's up, 2 steps, brother? How you doing? You know, I think even though it might not be available to them, it's somebody that can say, look, I'm going to save vouchers for you if I want to, you know, for the future. I see this video. I want to play Bard. So I'm not going to invest in any of the other T3s. I'm going to save all my respect vouchers. And then I'm going to put them into him once I get to the season that I'm allowed to. You know, because other than that, you know, I'm gonna have to make another tier list for the later, you know, the later in season games. So let's do that for now. So the thing is, he does 1,250 damage directly, then deals 40% damage to the target and takes effect 4 times. Now, I'm not the biggest expert on bleed, so correct me if I'm wrong, because I never play bleed, so I never have to calculate it. Does this mean it's gonna proc? So I think I got this right. So it's going to do 40% damage 4 times. So that's 160 bleed. Then because this skill hits 5 times, so I'm gonna do 160 times 5. Am I correct or wrong to assume this? The bleed players, please tell me if I'm right or wrong about this. So I'll do 40 times 40, which is 160. Or actually, no, not 40 times 40. 40 times 4. Jeez. 40 times 4. And then times 5, because that effect triggers 4 times, but then the skill also hits 5 different formations, or times possibly. So if my calculation is right, his top R0 is going to do 800 plus 1,250, or plus, yeah, 800 plus 1,250, which gives us a 2,050 damage for Bard's top R0. I mean, kind of underwhelming in my personal opinion. Now, Descendant of Girion. Yes, perfect. It is. So exactly. It's exactly what I was saying. Thank you, Umbra. Descendant of Girion deals 90% physical damage, to 4 formations every 3 rounds. So that's 360 times 3. That's 1,080 of damage. Man, that is so little. Whew. It is almost nothing. And then has a 30% chance to inflict bleed that takes effect. They changed this to called Keen Eye. Okay. Okay. Has a 30% chance to inflict bleed. Effect deals 40% again and takes effect 4 times. So there we go. We got again the 30% chance. Jeez. So let's say, 30%, it's only gonna proc 3 times, right? So let's say it's gonna proc once for everybody. That's almost nothing of damage. And Bard is gonna rank so low. So let's say it procs only once for 4 formations. So remember, it's going to proc on 4 units, right? So let's just say, for the sake of simplicity, it's going to proc 1 out of the 3 rounds that's going to activate. So that's 40 times 4. Jeez, that's it. Oh, 40 times 4 times 4, because it procs also 4 times. Activates, takes effect 4 times. That's 640. Just for the sake of simplicity, 640 to break the numbers down. So 640 plus 1,080. 1,720. Man, Bard is suffering. Bard is sitting at. Jeez. Sorry, Avila. I'm going. Don't worry. I'm going. So I know I'm going. So Bard 3,770. He right now sits below Adun. Where is it? Where is it? Yes, I'm going. Let's go. I'm having a harder time find. Oh, I didn't. So I didn't add Bard on this. Oh, I can't believe I didn't add Bard. All right. I didn't add Bard, guys. So I'm going to have to use a commander that does not do damage just for the sake of. Jeez. Okay, let's go with, as a placeholder, let's go with Merry and Pippin. Sorry guys, I totally forgot that I did this tier list a while back on the system here, and I forgot, you know, that I didn't add Bard. So Merry and Pippin, for the sake of, you know, time being, is going to be our Bard. Bard is sitting below Adun. Okay. Next up we got Next up we have Beorn. Beorn, we're gonna be looking only at his, you know, R3 and our top R0 skill. His bottom R0, right? It's not a, it doesn't inflict. Yeah, it's only for his unit. So let's look at Skin Changer, a great skill. So Skin Changer, from round 4 onward, shapeshifts and deals 666 damage to 3 formations. Okay. Now, this is the thing. I never looked at report. Yo, Avila, you're missing the ring. Jeez. So now, from round 4 onward, shapeshifts and deals 666% damage. Physical damage to 3 formations. Now, it doesn't say how often he does. What's up, SSSS? I mean, it's not per round, so how often does he actually how often does this skill is it just once? I mean, I can't think if it's not only one. This is the crazy thing. I run Beorn and my main, and I never looked at reports to see how often this skill actually procced. Okay. That's what I thought, because they didn't say it repeated, you know, every so often. So that's it, 1,998 damage. All right. His Anduin Veil Chieftain is also a really good skill. It does. This is also where we got the RNG, right? Incredible how one skill can do, you know, can help you do so much damage with Beorn. Huh? Now his second skill that we look at, he's a tier 3. He's a legendary, so we're limited to his R3. So I know. Tobash said he hits harder after because it buffs his attack by percentage after. You are correct. So he does 300%. Let's just look at the, you know, before we look at the 50% for the next. Does 300% physical damage once to one enemy for now. Okay. 5 times. So that's 1,500. We'll look at the bleed in just a second. Okay. Now we can add another 750, because if it procs at least half of the time, then it's 750. So that's 2,250 with his R3. We still have to add the possibility of the bleed. It's 50% chance. And then at level 10, which at tier 3, at R3, you can max both trees with no problem. Then your bleed is going to affect 4 times. So let's look at the bleed, you know, the bleed statistics again. 50% chance. Every other round, 70% of bleed. So 70% times 1 formation for now. Let's just calculate for 1 formation. Okay. Up to effective up to 3 times. Okay, so 70% times 4, because now, you know, it's 4 times up here. That's every other round it applies. So that's times 5. Now we still have the the 50% chance to then hit the other unit as well. So we can add another 700, jeez, of damage from the bleed for the entire fight. Oh wow. So Beorn's R3 is able to give you 4,350 damage just from the skill alone. Stony, thank you, brother, for subscribing. Wow, that is a lot of damage from Beorn. Oh, oh shoot. So Beorn is going to be our... Beorn can do upwards of 6,348% of damage throughout the fight. I hope you guys are following the mathematics, the math behind this, right? We for the bleed, what we did is 70% times 4, because it will proc, it will take effect 4 times, but that's every other round. So it can hit, different formations every other round, and it's going to affect that formation up to 4 times. And then there's a 50% chance of hitting a second formation at the same time. Okay? Because if it hits, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of RNG going on, but best case scenario, once it hits on the second, when he hits the 300 damage on the second formation, and this also procs on the second formation, that's where you're getting huge amounts of damage. So with that in mind, Beorn is going to be the first commander at the very top of the list, because 6,000 plus, he is able to pump out 6,348. All right, perfect, guys. Next up, we have Sestaro. I don't think I have Sestaro on this account, so we have to go over here. Yeesh, where is Sestaro? I gotta find him on the map, man. This is one of the things I very much dislike about 2.0 is the map. I love the 1.0 map. Here we go. Here's Sestaro. So his Sestaro can go to use his R3. Let's look at all the 3 skills. I mean, actually, it's only 2. It's pretty straightforward in this case because his bottom evocator is it's a healing skill. So let's look at Spell Seeker. Spell Seeker can do 2,000% of focus damage throughout the fight. I did the math here when I was at work earlier for Sestaro. Nazgul can, for the first 2 rounds, deals 400% focus damage once to 2 enemies upon taking action each round. Okay, so let's do the math here. This one can be a little bit more tricky. So let's walk through the process here of looking at it. So it's 400%, okay, for the first 2 rounds. Okay, so we'll leave the first 2 rounds later. So it's 400 to 2 enemies. So 400 times 2. Okay. And then you do that also times 2. 1,600. For the first 2 rounds. I mean, let's go. No. Wait. It's, 400 times 2. 2 formations. Yep. Times 2 again. 1,600. And then we look at the level 5, 200% poison damage once to the attack to the target after this effect ends. Okay, I mean the possibility here, if he hits different formations, right? So let's say Sestaro hits 4 different formations. The first round he hits 2, the second round he hits the other 2. That means that once this effect ends, he can do 800 extra percent of damage. You Sestaro players, let me know, is this correct? Is the way that I'm thinking here of Sestaro right, or am I wrong? Here you go. So Ombra said no. So how would the 200% poison damage be targeted on the enemy here? So a skill applies pre-battle. Oh, that you're right. You're right. Okay, that you're correct. So that means only an extra 400. Perfect. Perfect. So instead of 800, it's only 400 because he's not gonna hit two different formations. Perfect. Thank you for explaining that, Ombra. So instead of an extra 800, it's just an extra 400, and that brings Histaro to an extra 2,000% of damage, putting him at exactly 4,000% of possible damage. He is going to be, geez, at R3? T3 at R3, he sits that low, huh? Where is Histaro? Man, just, I mean, looking at pure numbers, he is lower than Axog. Now, the thing we have to consider here is focus damage. Yeah, so his focus damage. Nah, don't. I mean, I think for some reason the chat here blocks certain words. Well, but don't worry, man. Most of his damage is his R5 and unique. He's not free to play friendly. Well, at least the numbers here don't lie what you're saying, Omanai. It's pretty clear. Now, look, I'm glad you confirmed this. This is why I like having you guys here. You guys give me this little nuggets, golden nuggets of extra information. You guys know the main commanders that I run. So although we look at numbers and we know the possibility, only when you actually test it on the field, either confirm or you adjust, your calculations to fit the stuff. So Histaro sits below Axog. As you can tell, like Oman I just said, he is not a free to play commander. Friendly, at least. All right, next up. I didn't want to do this guy yet, but let's go to him. Let's go to Dane. He is the next one, on the line. So let's go. Bad boy Dane. Okay. Dane can do 2,250% of damage just from his top R0. During's Blood, let's use the same calculation from that we use for Ballin for his R3. Okay? So that means that Dane can pump out 3,000 on average, 3,150% of damage from his R3. And this might shock you guys. Let's make this just a number. Plain text. Give me a second. Plain text. Yes. So. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. 2,250. From his top R0, then the bad boy can do some extra damage from his During's Blood, his R3, but one does not simply view the list. I like that. hashtag view the list. This is the hashtag for this live. Hashtag view the list. So this is the crazy thing. Dane with his top R0 and R3, he will sit at 5,400 damage. He will sit just above Aragorn. Look at that. So if you're looking for a R3 free to play friendly damage dealer, so far Beorn is your best option. Interesting, huh? Let's get going, guys. Let's keep going. Next up is the 1.0 good side god. You guys know who I'm talking about. Dwaling. Boo, they nerfed him. Okay, he has 2 damage dealing skills, Experienced Warrior and During's Blood. We can easily put him, just add the 3,150 from During's Blood. That's the nice thing about having repeated skills. At least you can do the math very quickly. Experienced Warrior, though, Yes, well, we're going to look at alerts in just a second, my friend. So, Experienced Warrior will do you 200% damage, okay, to two enemies. To two enemies 5 times. So you're getting a 2000% damage from the reason why I'm not even looking at his R3, his R5 is because it's not a damage skill, right? So he can do 2000% damage from his top R0, 3150 from his bottom R0, and that will put him, geez, look at this. Oh wow. Pure numbers, guys, okay? Pure numbers. 5150. That's just below, okay? This is just below Aragorn, King of Man. And guys, I'm gonna do a recap. I'm hoping tomorrow morning. Marvin, if you're watching, this is the first video I'm gonna give to you. Okay? Then exactly. So I'll read Omba's comment in just a second. But look how good, just looking at the skill wise, Dwaling can still be. And for the recap, I'm gonna put the actual percentage of damage on the little icon here on the recap. So whenever you're looking at this, you guys can see, 6,000 plus, 5,000 plus, and so on, but you don't know the actual percent of damage. So I'm gonna add those to the images. So whenever you guys look at this, you can see, wow, okay, I know exactly how much damage they can do, and I'll choose whoever I want to go with. So let me bring up Dwalin here, and I'll read Ombra's comment. Dwalin. Here we go. I mean, look at this. Dwalin is not for a free-to-play player. Looking at skills, right? Remember, free-to-play and the skills. Dwalin is not bad on the damage level. Now, what determines the difference, right? So, like Ombra is saying, what makes a bigger difference in between King of Man and Dane? That King of Man has a 22 to 24 damage range. Okay, look at the damage range from Dane, 26 to 29. Those extra 2, or actually not extra 2, those extra 5 damage, it will be a huge difference. Whenever you so if you're considering King of Man or Dane, you guys can clearly see that Dane will still pump out a lot more damage, even though the percentage is very close, because of the extra 5 damage that he gets. Okay, oh shoot, right here, the extra 5. So he has a 26 to 29. King of Man has a 21 to 24. Exactly, it's like one having a Palantir plus 5 and the other not. Yes, and this is I hope, guys, if you guys can take away anything from this, us talking through the differences in these commanders is what gonna get you guys to become that much better in the game. Because you might think, yo, why is my King of Man not performing as well as Dane? I mean, their damage is their damage percent from, at R3 level is so close. Why are they not doing the same damage? Well, it's because you got to look at the other things. His damage, range is much lower. And also Dane's attack, he gets 8 extra attack compared to King of Man. Now when we do, we're gonna come back here and do the low spender tier list, and then the high spender tier list, and that's what I'm calling it. I'm not gonna call dolphin, whale, kraken, because everybody has their own category. Giving you guys the category of low spender, you kind of, okay, he might be spending a little bit here and there. Yes, SS. We're gonna check it out in just a second, but I want to categorize it that way. It's more broad, but at the same time more concise. Okay, so let's look at Beorn's damage range. Okay, I was like 50 to 68. What? Let's remove the gear. Oh, that was good. 27 to 29. 27 to 29. The gap is much lower too. Dane has a look at this. The damage range from Beorn is also by 1 damage point better than Dane. For that reason alone also, he's better. Okay? So 26 to 29 damage range, 27 to 29 damage range, and an extra 5 of attack on top of Dane. So 60 to 65, 60 attack, and 65. So just looking, just looking at at this high level stuff, when you understand what you're looking for, you already now everybody that's watching here knows why Dane is stronger, or why Beorn is stronger. Okay, now there is something you have to consider though. Okay, this is why when we do the tier list for, you know, when their relics are going to be in, you know, in the play, that might change. But then, you know, at high spender, you're most likely getting both of them. Like I use both of them, but that's another thing that Ombra said. Skin Changer also buffs, you know, his attack by 15%. No, does 15% more damage, or no, the attack actually. Okay, until the end of the battle. Okay, but the other thing, like I said, when you're into the more higher spender category, that's when the relic might shift the numbers a little bit, because Beorn's relic only gives you extra attack. Does he need it? It's something you're gonna determine for your builds, for your gear. That's why, you know, you have to look at what gear you have to see if you need it or not. But then you look at, you know, Dane's relic, it boosts damage, you know? So that's when you have to look at the whole thing, because look, it will give that plus 15 damage, whereas Beorn's R, you know, top R0 gives 15% of attack. So those two things you have to analyze. We'll analyze it together when we get to that point. All right. But right now, Dwaling, going back to the point, Dwaling sitting just under Aragorn II. All right. Next up, we got Elmer. Elmer is a great free to play. You know, I mean, at least he's a great starting commander, because you can get him if you choose Gondor as your starting faction as a new player. I cleaned him good when they give us the voucher, because I already had a lot of damage dealers. I didn't want to have, you know, another one that I probably wasn't going to use. We can use him, you know, we can use all the skills that he has, because as a T2, we get to use him at an R5, but he only has 2 damage skills. This is for the troops, right? And he has these 2 damage skills. Let's look at his top R0 first. His top R0 will do 380% damage, okay, to 2 formations, 3 rounds, every 3 rounds. So that puts him at 2,280% of possible damage. And with his R3, that is 480% damage to 1 formation. Okay, we'll look at the 30% in just a second. Okay, so it's 480 times 5, because it's every other round. Thank you, my friend. I'll remember to switch on and off, you know, probably by the end of the stream. So just the top skill alone will give you 2,400 of damage to the formation. Then you have a 30% chance to deal additional damage once. I'm going to consider that this is going to be 30% of doing the same 480. So let's do, you know, we can do 2,400. 30% of 2,400 is 720 plus 2,400. That gives you a 3,120 of possible damage. And the nice thing here is that it gives you an extra 10% damage for 1 round. I'm not going to consider this just because, I mean, 10% for 1 round. I guess we could. I mean, just to give you possibly the best scenario is 10% for 1 round. Of which damage though? Damage dealt plus 10%. That means, all right, SSS, take care, brother. So 10%. I mean, just for the time being, let's not add this up, because I still think you're gonna have a pretty good spot for Elmer. Jeez, Elmer sits in a good spot here. Ooh. All right, Elmer, just with those 2 skills, will grant you 5,400 of possible damage, and that will put him between. Now that puts him above King of Man and below Dane. Below Dane for one reason, you know, they have the same amount of percentage, but remembering he's a T2, look at his damage range. Okay? I mean, looking at that damage range, so we have to take this into consideration, being pretty pragmatic here. He has 16 to 18. That is very, and he doesn't have to be ascended. He's only R8. He has a lower damage than King of Man. A much lower minimum than King of Man. And he only has like, what is it? 180% more damage throughout the entire fight. So Elmer will definitely not pump out, not at this level, enough damage, you know, compared to King of Man. So let's put him between Aragorn, King of Man, and Aragorn II. Where is this? Where is Elmer? All right, cool. We're getting there, Avalot. We're getting there. Thank you. So next up, Elmer have 2-step R3 and R10. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. So that's why he's below King of Man. He still has a lot of damage. You know, for people that want to see his possible damage output, he does sit a little bit above Aragorn II. And you know, my Aragorn II is ascended, so he's gonna give you a fake value there. So he'll sit above Aragorn II, but below King of Man in that possible damage output. Let's go really quick to Faramir. Let's do some of these guys are gonna be very, very easy to do because they have very simple skills, and they're really not competitive for damage dealers. So incursion. Okay, so this is the old school rush. Okay. Yes, but what I suggest to a free-to-play is stop at R3 or go for R10. Don't go for R5, Elmer. That's fine. That's fine, Ombra. It's just, yeah, for the sake of this tier list, because we've just set up categories. You know, Elmer. This is just giving out. You know, this is just giving out the possible damage output. But I agree with you. You don't need to put him at R5 because you're not going to go past his R3. I agree with you, brother. Okay? So let's go really quick to Faramir. So that means in this case, even though it has a 1 round cooldown, his skill is going to hit more than 5 times because this incursion skill, just a few ghosts, and I think we should be able to. I'm going to focus on the ones that actually have a lot of damage skill. So we'll do them really quick. So rush means instead of activating in round 2, it's going to activate in round 1. So it's going to proc 6 times. Rounds 1, 3, 5, 7. No, everybody, still 5 times. It's 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. But instead of activating in round 2, activates in round 1. So it's still only 5 times. So 350 possible damage to 1 formation times 5. Okay, so it's 1,750 damage from his top R0, and from his R3, it's 120% damage to 3 formations, right? 5 times. So that's 1,800. It's 1,800. And then we do a 30% chance of doing additional damage. So do 30% times 1,800. Plus 1,800. So 2,340% of damage. Yes. I mean, at high respect, we have a team member that he's been able to make Faramir work, but definitely, not much. He has a very unique build. So I love Faramir back in 1.0. He was able to do a lot of damage, but now, he does 4,090% of damage. That puts him below Exog. And I mean, he puts by 90%, you put him above Sestaro. But just like Omen I said, Sestaro is not a free-to-play commander because you need his R5 to really shine. So we'll put him over here just for the sake of the stats. Next up, Ooh, we got my lady, Lady Galadriel. The nice thing about her is that you only need her at R1 really for as a damage commander. Okay, you only need her at R1. Her both of her damage skills are within her R1. So let's have a look. Mistress of Magic. Okay, let's calculate just the skills, not the normal attacks, because every commander has their normal attacks. Her Mistress of Madness does 140% damage to 3 formations for 5 rounds. That's 2,100. Her bottom R0, see, as you guys can see, we're going really quick now. She does 320% damage to 2 formations. Okay? For every 3 rounds. 1,920. Okay? That's her bottom R0. And that, you know, you're gonna be surprised because she doesn't also, you know, pump out that much damage. Okay, 4,020. Something we have to consider later though is the fact that focus damage bypasses defense. So is 4,020% damage equivalent to 4,020% physical damage? What would you guys say? But just numbers wise, Galadriel sits below Faramir. And that's where, you know, I don't feel that this is right, because, you know, Galadriel will pump out, you know, 60, 70,000 of damage where Faramir won't. So, how do you guys feel about this? What do you mean? I don't understand what you meant, Ombre. You said R3 Galadriel is the power spike is not right. What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean. This is the rough thing, because I feel like the damage that she's gonna do is not equivalent to the damage that they do at their respect level. Because if you think about it, you know, I run Galadriel at R, you know, Z6, but her damage skills are still from R0. And she still pops off, you know, 60,000 damage, 70,000 damage, 90,000 damage, you know, in a fight. And so it doesn't feel right to put her so low down here. What do you think? It's a bit rough. It's an interesting situation here. For her damage, you know. Exactly. That's what I mean. To say the focus damage is enormously higher than what the skill value says, because it's focus, exactly. But that's the same principle with Sestaro. Sestaro does, you know, 4,000 of focus damage. But at the same time, you know, she will do, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 damage. So I'll leave these two here for the time being. Let's finish up the other ones, and then we'll come back to them, because I don't think that they sit there, honestly. So we'll look back into that in just a second, okay? I don't want to, you know, just deviate so much. So we're looking at Gimli really quick. Both of his skills are already here. We have... It's Durin's Blood. I mean, no, actually, he has his R5, right? So we can go with... So he gets 2,000 from his top R0. He gets 3,050 from his R3. And he will get... Then we're going to have to decide, right? We're going to have to decide what we go with. The nice thing about him is that we can add some extra... He's gonna do more damage because... He has 66 points, so we're going to be able to do 2 full trees and then 2 skills elsewhere. So let's do it really quick. So he does 220 times 2, right? Times 5. So that alone is 2,200, which is more than Experienced Warrior. So what we can do is we can do Durin's Blood plus Experienced Warrior plus then 2 skills here. That's 40. That's an extra 80 of percent of damage from 2 levels of experienced warrior. So he does 5,430 of damage, sitting. Ooh, okay, nope. Sitting just below Dane. Dane is an auto ascended commander, so he does more damage than Gimli does. I mean, my Gimli is ascended. You're gonna see that his damage is still below Dane. Now 22 to 24. Dane has 26 to 29. So he's gonna sit just below Dane. Where's Gimli? Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Yep, there we go. He does a little bit more than Dane in percentage wise, but because his damage is lower, that's where he's gonna sit. Perfect. Next up, let's do Aragorn really quick. We can do Aragorn really quick. Another T1 for new players and free to play, very friendly for you guys. He has a couple of damage skills. His top R0 is 400% to 2 enemies times 3. So it's a pretty strong skill, 2,400. Okay, and then he has he has the Herald skill. Yes, that does 480 times 5. Another 2,400. Jeez, not too bad, huh? Not too bad. All right. That means he does 4,800% of damage. That is not bad for a T1. Because you consider that Dwaling does a little bit more than he at 5,150. He does 4,800. It's not he's not by any means bad. But let's see how close he is to Ballin. Ballin does 4,650. What's the 12 to 14? His damage range. Well, let's actually remove this and remove this. So 12 to 14. Ballin has a 16 to 18, and he also has more attack. So Ballin's gonna sit above him, even though Aragorn does a little bit more damage in the percentage. He sits below him because of the extra attack and damage that Ballin has from his stats. Where's Aragorn? Here we go. Next up is your guys' beloved Khaldun. Do I have Khaldun? Yes, I do have Khaldun. So Khaldun has the same top R0 skill as Gimli with 2,000 damage from experienced warrior. Does he? I mean, and then he has his R5 that does 100% physical damage. I mean, I'll do plus 15 here just for the sake of this, but his R5, he does an extra 1,000% of damage. Yeah, 1,100. Let's do this. 1,150 at best case scenario because he does 10%. But that's just from. Now let's add that to the overall of the battle. So it's 1,000 here, and then we do 15%. Let's do this plus this plus this. All right, it's 3,000 with an extra 15%. So 3,450. Oof, really? He's that bad, huh? I mean, for damage, Yep. So 3,450 for Khaldun. That puts him at the lowest. I mean, that puts him below Adun. Where is Khaldun? All right. Or wait. Yeah, that puts him even below. Yeah, that puts him below Bard. Remember, I'm gonna do a recap video, and change Merry and Pippin for Bard. All right. I mean, just so I don't go over it anymore, and Avila is gonna get at me. Let's go to the ones that you guys are really interested to do, and I'll add the other ones in the recap that I do. All right, so let's go to Lurtz. Okay, Lurtz has 2 damage skills. Do I have Lurtz? Yes. Lurtz has 2 damage skills. We all know. That's not Lurtz. Here we go. Pursuer and Urukai Firstborn. Okay, that will render you 4,700 of damage. Okay, the next closest commander with 4,000, the closest would be Ballin with 4,650. So he sits, he sits at the top of the 4,000s without his unique. Yes, no, we'll see, Avila. So 4,700 from Lurtz. And this is the same situation with Elmer, I would say. Unless you're gonna you're gonna send him to unlock his relic, right? Then it really won't matter that you go above his R5. Although you can justify saying, his bottom R0 is not a damage skill, but it does, boost his attack. So I would still consider boosting him more because it'll give you, more commander attack as well. So he sits at the top of the middle tier here for the free-to-play. Next up, we have Saruman. I don't have Saruman, so we're going to have to go to... You know what? I like what Avila said. Let's finish up on Saruman. I think we still have like another 12 to do, 15 to do. So what we're going to do, I'm going to close in Saruman, and then you guys come back tomorrow. I like that idea. I appreciate that. And then we'll finalize the tier list tomorrow. And then after we finalize it, then I'll do the recap the day after. Let's do that. See, that's why it's always nice having a mod on. She is gonna be yelling at me once I get off this, though. I'm gonna hop off and not even gonna go back to Discord tonight, guys. Don't tag me on Discord. I'm gonna hop off and run. So Saruman at R3 has some really nice skills. Okay, so his many colors, you can reach 3,420 of damage because you're gonna do 1 instance of each type. Okay, every 3 rounds. And then you got his Voice of Saruman, does 540 to 1 formation, and for 1 round, every other round. Okay, and damage received by the targets affected by manners or stun plus 5%. We're gonna ignore this because it's still RNG. So his top R0, 3,420. His R3 will render you 2,700 for a total of 6,120. Yo, we got our first evil commander, free-to-play evil commander friendly that will hit the top tier. Yo, this is no joke. 6,120,000 or 6,100 and 20% of damage. Beorn sits at 6,348. So, for a free-to-play, Saruman is, so far, we're not finished, so far, your best evil commander to use. And remember, Saruman is going to do possibly on average more damage than Beorn because it's focus, it's elemental. Elemental bypasses defense. The same situation with Galadriel and Sistaro that we have here. They are elemental damage dealers, so they have a benefit, in that. Now we're gonna have to look into the gear for the free to play, and how likely is it that they're gonna be able to get good gear for that difference to for the difference to be true, So don't let the mods bully you, fellow. It's okay, man. She's actually she's helping me, she's helping me keep myself on track and not burned out and stuff like that. So I'm really grateful for Avila. Man, she has had to put up with me in so many different levels. So I'm grateful that she's here. Okay. And so, guys, Saruman is a great commander. Now, the things you have to consider. This is why before you guys, decide on investing on new things, I'm gonna go all in on Saruman because he is the highest damage. He's gonna have a third tree. He has his R5. He's gonna give him more damage. No, it's not. You gotta, you have to look at things. If I'm gonna invest heavily, wait until we do the low spenders and high spenders tier lists, because then you're gonna be able to analyze. But actually, you just learned it to do yourself. Right now, what I'm doing is going through the percentages here, looking at how many how many formation it hits, how often it hits, So you guys are already learning how to do your own calculations for your commander. So I hope you guys come back for the next ones, but I hope that if you don't, is because you already learned how to do the calculations and now you can just do it yourself. Okay? But Saruman is a great free-to-play friendly commander because his skills are just that good. And once you get his relic is just like, kind of like Lurtz. It's the more you refine, the more damage you do. Some relics is has a percentage of proccing, a certainty of proccing. His is consistent. All right, so if you're gonna decide on who you're gonna invest on, don't do it just yet because we're not done. All right, everybody. Let me see how many people we have on. There we go. How many people we have on? Ooh, 30. Yeah, this is a good number. All right, league place. Yeah, man. So between today and tomorrow, I'm gonna finish doing all the calculations on my spreadsheet to show you guys what I was gonna show today that I didn't have time to. But and I'm gonna also go over the calculations to see if I'm missing anything. But league plays, you're saying you're saying Lurtz less than Aragorn. What? It is because actually never mind. Let me go back to Lurtz really quick. I forgot something I think with Lurtz. Wait. And he might change spots. Let me see here. We forgot something with Lurtz. Pursuer. Give me a second here. Yeah. Give me a second here. Did I calculate that? No, so I calculated Pursuer wrong, guys. Give me a second. Because when you're attacking, you do another 100% damage. So it's 400 times 5, right? 2,000 plus another. I'm going to add another 500 to this because deals an additional 100% physical damage once while attacking. I'm assuming it's another 100% on top of that 400 of whoever he hits. So let's add another 500 to this. Unless I'm wrong, you correct me. That is true. So do we have a clue of how this scales? Have we figured out how much it scales by? So just numbers alone. Let me have a quick recap on Lurtz here. I appreciate League you bringing this up because I forgot to add that. So, it's different already. So it's 5,200 on that alone. 5,200 puts him right here. No, puts him right here before calculating the scaling from his R3. So I'm pretty confident he's gonna push, right here. I'm pretty sure, at least right here. Between today and tomorrow, we can find out the scaling on this. We'll redo the math on Lurtz, and so 15% first hit and 15% second hit. So 15% each. in total. Okay, so 15% in total. So, man, I'm going to run him like crazy next season because I want to be able to say for certainty how I feel about him. I told you in the live stream that I wasn't sure yet. I mean, he is a tank, but he's more of a hybrid tank. The All-Father, man, look at this. Look at this. The All-Father jumping on the stream, man. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope your family is doing well. And I'm hoping you're having fun in the team that you're playing. Yeah, so that's what I'm calculating, Ombra. 15% on top of each. So let's do the math with that. Ombra, 350. 350. Physical damage twice. Each attack reselects a target. Two 2835 is what I'm getting. So 2835. It's 2,500 on this one. 2835 on this one. And we can summarize, we can sum this now. This plus this. 5,335. That will put him above. That puts him just statistics-wise above King of Men by 100%. But I can't put him above King of Men because of this right here. No, this is not, we're not counting stats. We're not doing a mathematical, formula because it is very complex of the number output. We're just analyzing percentages of damage. That is the most basic way of analyzing the power of a commander. Then what you do is you analyze with your own gear in the way you're going to play, how much damage he can possibly do. But this is one of the easiest ways to understand is, look, they can do this much damage throughout the fight. Who is the best or who is the worst? Now, the reason why he's going to stay below King of Men, he does beat King of Men by just 100. Okay, because of the stats from here and from here. Now, remembering when we talk about low spender to high spender, that completely changes. Because King of Men's relic does not boost his attack. And this guy's relic is one of the best in the game. 120% extra damage. So he's gonna shoot up the rankings once we talk about the higher spenders in the game. Hope that makes sense to you guys. But at the free-to-play level, he by just a tiny bit, he's a little bit, he's worse than King of Men. He has a slight higher damage, but not close and not it's not at free-to-play level. Oh, here. 17 to 21. 21 to 24. That 3 minimum, in maximum will shift the damage, overall. And the other thing you have to consider is the factor that he gets one of his skills, he only gets the benefit when he's attacking. So when you're not attacking, this 500% bye-bye doesn't activate. So you gotta take that into the averages of your fight. So I think Lotr sits in a very good, very good position above Elmer and below King of Men. Okay. All right, guys. Let's close. Avila, please don't yell at me. I'm grateful to you, Avila, for being me such a good support. But tomorrow, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring all the calculations. I had to redo the calculations with you guys because, as you saw in the beginning of the stream, the categories that I said was the parameters was different, right? It was T3 at R1. We're considering R3 now, so I had to redo the calculations during the live, which tomorrow I'm going to be able to do it, during my break at work. I'm going to finish all the calculations in my spreadsheet, and we're going to pound them, 1 to 2 minutes each commander, and then we're gonna do an overall, we're gonna do an overall, assessment of this. And then I'm gonna crumb everything together into a 5 to 10 minute video for easy access to you guys. Cool? Guys, don't forget, if you can see my screen right now, who actually removed it. So let me pop this up really quick. Where is, here we go. So if you guys, I'm gonna show you guys this again. Some of our fellow community members have decided that they want to do this, okay? They want, if you look above me, they are wanting for me to do a 1000 Matham chest opening in one of the 2 accounts that I actively play and test for the community, okay? The one on this one right here is a mostly a troop focus account, where I'm gonna probably be running 2 troop formations along with my meta damage dealing, because I already have gear and stuff for that. And there on this side is the one you guys been seeing a lot with the heals and stuff and damage commanders. Okay, if you guys want to support this initiative, the more the merrier. Hit me up or use the top up link to directly, pick one of those 2 accounts instead of sending through super chats and stuff, because YouTube takes like a 30% cut. So because it's gonna be just for the account, you guys can do it via direct the game. All right, but don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. I'll explain Axog tomorrow, League. Come back tomorrow and I'll explain it to you. All right, I'll save your comment here. Okay, I'll explain tomorrow when we do the recap. Keep that question and come back tomorrow. 8:30 tomorrow. We're back here. All the calculations done. 1 hour. Peace. Take care, everybody.